just like getting started on a project is half of the fucking battle. You know, it's like once I get started on doing something, then I'm like, oh well, this still needs to get done, and then like pretty soon you're like fucking halfway done with whatever it is. But like that first step, and it's the same thing when I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym. You're like, no, I don't want to go to the gym. But then once you get to the gym, like if you manage to get over that hump and you get there, then like it's like, well, now I want to do this, now I want to do that, and then pretty soon you're like you got a full body workout and you're tired as fuck and you're like, damn, I went to the gym. But yeah, just like getting there, like getting started. I am a procrastinator, but today I got over procrastinating and I started packing for the move and made me realize I actually have quite a few magazines for my guns, which is pretty cool. But I hope everybody out there is doing well tonight. Welcome to the Gay Frog Chat. Friends, Romans, and Patriots, lend me your ears. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I'm kind of tired. We kind of got a little drunk last night on the chat, and then I didn't get enough sleep. And then it's Easter, and then I'm moving, so I'm packing and doing all that stuff. I didn't have a ton of time to, well, I didn't have any time really that I devoted to putting anything together for tonight. So I figured maybe we could just talk about guns or whatever's going on, like a status of the Second Amendment kind of thing, or maybe we'll go to Twitter and see what's going on there, or talk about Biden and his bullshit, or whatever you guys want to talk about tonight. It's going to be an open frog. So if you guys have anything that you'd want to have the panel address, drop in at eHonda, and I will try to get to those. And as always, super chats are not necessary, but welcome. And I appreciate those, and thank you for those in advance. And all that being said, how you guys doing tonight? Joined by the future governor of Ohio. How do you do, good sir?
I am good. Still trying to get my money together here so I can finally get declared as a future gubernatorial candidate for Ohio, but, it is what it is. I'm still looking for an actual campaign manager in Ohio here, so if anybody knows anybody, please let me know.
I wouldn't even know what to do if I was a campaign manager.
Basically, it's to stop me from going to jail for doing, like, FEC violations or whatever.
Yeah, don't hire me. You will definitely go to jail. And we have an angry platypus. How you doing, Mr. Slightly Annoyed?
I'm doing well.
Less annoyed than normal, I suppose.
About the same. About the same.
So I just discovered something because I'm out of milk, and a lot of the time for these chats when I'm feeling tired, as I am, I will make myself a nice hot tea because for those who don't know, English breakfast tea has more caffeine than coffee. And like I've noticed that it wakes me up and gets me going more than a cup of coffee does. So if I'm like tired, that's what I drink. But I'm out of milk because I drink it like English style, I guess, with sugar and milk. That's just the way I like my tea, but I'm out of milk. Bailey's Irish Cream works pretty well in your hot tea. Who would have knew? Who would have known?
I feel, one, that Jolly has gotten to you and started influencing you with your drinking of tea.
Hey, man. I've worked for a long time.
And two, at least you're embracing, like, adding alcohol to your tea. So, kind of balances out.
Dude, that's a weird one that people order sometimes. They'll get a vodka iced tea. And it's not a Long Island iced tea, because that's like vodka, rum, gin, triple sec, sour mix, and Coke. They want vodka and iced tea.
So I know that sounds weird, but like I've gotten that plenty of times, and they used to, I forget who used to make it, but someone used to make a sweet tea vodka, and I used to do sweet tea vodka and water.
Seagram.
Like all the time. That's it. Yep.
Yeah, man, I mean
basically just alcoholic iced tea.
Right. I don't know. We made a drink with that stuff that was like a southern sweet tea, fucking Long Island. It was a southern Long Island tea, I think is what we called it. But I don't know, like all those different alcohols, just like different ways to like put it together in a way that you can charge more for it, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because it's not like the vodka's better or anything. It's just the flavoring that they put in there, you know. But I mean, it is what it is. It's fine. I have no problem with people making money. But anyway, I don't know, man. What's going on? What guns are you thinking about buying next? So I guess we'll start there. You guys got anything that's on your radar? Something cool that came out that you want? Like something that has been on your list for a while that maybe is coming up?
Nothing new that like came out. I'm still looking for a 32 and a 308, but I gotta wait till I plan this vacation. Well, not even this vacation. Plan this flight back home for the wedding I have to go to in May. So I have to wait till that's all done, and then I can start finagling expenses around a little bit more.
I mean, for my next gun, the only thing that I don't have that I want at this point anyway is a 308 bolt gun. Like a hunting setup, you know, like a 3 to 9 variable scope probably on top of it. Something lightweight, as light as possible, so I can, you know, hoop it around if I need to, if I'm going hunting with it or whatever. And I'd like it to be in 308, and I don't care about a detachable magazine. It's a hunting gun. I'm not using it for like tactical shooting or anything like that, you know, like I don't know, everyone's going after, I forget the gun that's got the detachable magazine that takes 308 mags. It's a bolt gun.
Oh, the Ruger Ranch.
Yeah, that's the one that everybody fucking wants.
I mean, they're cool, but they're like, for what they're going for nowadays, I'm just like, I don't want to spend that much money. And I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I'm just looking for a 308 bolt gun because I have some 308 ammo left over from when I had my Spanish Mauser that I sold. And I have a scope that I had on my zombie gun, my quote-unquote zombie gun that I took off. So I'm like, I have these two things. I just need the gun to like complete it. So
yeah, and
I'm just looking for something cheap.
Like I would go with a different caliber, even potentially than 308. But I already have 308, and I don't want to get into another caliber. You know, like now I have to buy 6mm Remington Magnum or whatever. You like, fuck me, dude.
Yep. And that's my problem right now. Is like every time I go into my local, I can find rifles that fit, like I could throw a scope on all day long, but they're always like 270 or like, just like you said, like 7mm mag or like some oddball caliber. I'm like, I don't want to get into some oddball hunting ammo. Like, my goal is to probably shoot like the 308 ammo I have and then sell the damn thing.
Dwayne Christensen says, with about half of the U.S. constitutional carry states, do you think that might slow the push for gun control? No, I don't think anything's going to slow the push for gun control right now. I think that they've effectively... So, okay, go back to 2012 when all of the Sandy Hook stuff happened, right? And like everyone was freaking out, and there was the run on guns, and Obama was going to ban everything, and everyone freaked the fuck out. And then what happened? Everyone got together because there was like YouTube channels and gun communities and different areas that you would go to, and people of a like mind would come together and talk about it. And then pretty soon those like-minded people who were getting together online were getting together in real life at rallies in state capitals, in front of governors, in front of officials, and people who saw the sheer number of people that cared about gun rights and decided, like, yeah, this isn't a good idea right now, at least, right? What's the difference today? Well, our voices, such as they are, have been silenced, have been neutered, have been, you know, shut down, have been shadow banned, have been put into a corner and only allowed a few people to listen to them. And that's just where we're at, right? Like, I was talking to Matt, you know, about the origins of his channel and like how long he's been doing chats and stuff like this. And I was like, yeah, dude, I had like 100 and something people watching the other night. That's quite a bit. Like, I know, like, you usually have, you know, maybe twice that would be a good one for you. And he's like, well, actually, if you go back to like 2012, we'd have like 10,000 people watching a chat. Like, that's 100 times as many people as watch the chats these days. And I think part of it is because it was in the zeitgeist of the national people of our nation because of what was going on. But another part of it was because channels like Never Enough Ammos or mine or Yankee Marshall or whoever weren't shadow banned. That infrastructure to hide someone's channel and not give people notifications and do the little snidely whiplash things that they do to fucking make channels like ours go away, those weren't in place in 2012 or even in 2016. Like, fast forward to the Trump election, right? Like, everyone thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win, hands down, period. And then what happened? The populist voice rose up and said, like, fuck that. We're tired of your bullshit. We're gonna vote for the Trump card. We're gonna put the gorilla in the fucking china shop. And when he starts smashing stuff, rather than being like, oh, we're gonna clap for the fucking monkey, right? Like, that's what we voted for in 2016. And our ability to express those ideas as a result of that decision made in that point has been, like, they basically don't trust us anymore with our own decisions. They've said, like, the American people are too dumb. We know better. We're going to lie to them and manipulate them and hide the truth from them until they vote and do the things that we want them to do. And that's the actions of a totalitarian government. That is the actions and the methodology of fascism, the worship of state by these people who are ideologically entranced by the fucking religion of the state is basically what it is. I mean, it's a secular religion. It's just where we're at these days. And I think everyone needs to recognize that and know that we're not in 2016 anymore. And no, we're not in 2012 anymore. Things are different now than they were then. And I think they're coming for our gun rights and other rights, not just gun rights, but specifically they're coming for our gun rights, and they're coming hard, and there's less and less that we're able to do about it effectively. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'd like to bring up a counterpoint on that, actually. You said the whole Trump explosion is 2016. I know there in Denver it is pretty hard left and stuff like that, your legislator is. Here in Ohio, we are one of only two supermajorities that vote Republican. 2016 and 2018, well, I should say 2016, 2018, and 2020 all got us to more gun rights in the state. All the people that we have now, we are even more of a Republican supermajority than we were in 2016. And if it wasn't people like me in the last 2 years, we wouldn't have constitutional carry on our legislative season right now.
I mean, I think you're on the correct page with the whole, silencing our voices. I mean, think about it right now. If we wanted, like, granted things are quote unquote getting better with the pandemic stuff, but like a lot of states, if you wanted to go hold a rally right now, like that would get shut down immediately.
Oh yeah. Well, if you wanted to hold a pro-gun rally, it would get shut down immediately. And that's the problem, is that depending on your ideological point of view, your speech is either amplified or discredited and minimized,
Yep.
And because we are in the discredit and minimize camp, yes, if we tried to do what we would have to do is be like, hey, we're having like a LGBT community rally, and then just show up with Gadsden flags and shit, I think that'd be funny. But I mean, that's the environment that we're in. And unfortunately, the national conversation, like the rights and the ability of people to have discourse with one another, to have a disagreement through civil discourse, is out the window. I honestly think that at this point, when you're dealing with someone who's ideologically entranced against you, there's nothing that you can do to get through to them. The only thing that you can do to get through to them is not engage, and hopefully eventually something in their life is going to red pill them and they're going to come around to our side anyway in the long run. And I think that's true. Like, as this goes along, a lot of these kids who are coming up, who are like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, like even 25, and younger are starting to see that, hey, the things that we were taught in high school and in college by these professors who we respected and trusted and listened to were actually coming from an ideological point of view that they were trying to indoctrinate us into through that process of school, which we pay for, by the way. And I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, Guns and Barbecues here too. And we have a super chat from Bama Mac 82 says, I just bought a Mossberg Patriot with detachable magazine, 18-inch fluted barrel, and fluted bolt. Came with a 3-9x40 in 308 for $350. Dude, that's about a
very nice.
It's exactly the kind of thing that I would want. If I'm not quite ready because I just bought a lower because of this whole boulder thing that happened. Like, I'm kind of worried they're going to get rid of it in Colorado, and I wanted to get something before it was too late. And I found a deal and got it. And then I also got that barkeep because I just wanted a barkeep, and I decided to buy it. But I'm not going to buy another gun right now. I'm going to wait a couple weeks at least.
The barkeep might be my most favorite 22 revolver that I've gotten.
The barkeep. Which one do you have?
Which mean?
Oh wait, the barkeep.
The barkeep. I was gonna say.
Well, they do make a 3-inch one too, but why would you get that?
Oh, are they? I thought all of them were that 2-inch model.
Yeah, no, there's a 2-inch and there's a 3-inch, and I almost got duped into buying the 3-inch because they had it for like a cheap price, and then I looked at it, and I'm like, that I would be upset if that's the one that I got, But yeah, man, I really like the look of it. It's at the store. Like, Colorado's taking fucking 5 days to do their background checks right now because it's done through the Colorado Bureau of Investigations, and they're just behind on shit. So yeah, maybe Tuesday I'll get it. Tuesday I'll be able to pick them both up.
It's an absolute blast.
Yeah, and I'm excited for my AR too because I got the KE arms lower, like the in-range TVs, like what would Stoner do build lower that they used. And then I got Bear Creek upper, just like a Bear Bitch upper. And then a carry handle, and I'm calling it done. 20-round magazine. Like, we're good, man.
Now, those KE arms, are they aluminum or polymer?
They're polymer.
That's what I kind of figured.
But it's a different design, though. So, like, most of the polymer lowers that you find out there basically follow the exterior design parameters of like a aluminum lower, but the KE arms is reinforced with polymer where it needs to be, so they're just as strong as like a regular lower, basically. Is what they say.
Awesome.
And it's like a pound lighter. Ghost Shadow says, doubt that I have just seen young people doubling down on stupidity. Idiot incel talking illegals into Washington, young people supporting decisions. I don't know what you're trying to say there.
Talking about JNC, their governor.
Well, I mean, and that's the other thing going on right now, right? Like, okay, we're in the midst of a pandemic. We've had an economic shutdown for overnight. It's been a year, right? But I mean, like, basically it was 9 months of hard shutdown. The economy is in shambles in a lot of ways from where it used to be. We've been printing money like it's water, and it doesn't even matter. Did I miss a super chat? Anyway, and there's not enough jobs for the people who are legal citizens of this country at this point, right now. And the jobs that are there, a lot of them are like shitty fucking jobs that a lot of people wouldn't be able to live on. Like, sure, you could work that job, and yeah, you might even be able to barely pay your rent and feed yourself, but God forbid if you have kids or whatever, And these are the jobs that are available, and we're just going to let like hundreds of thousands of people across the border and ship them all over the country to, the Strong Cities Act cities where they can take up residence without having to pay anything. And well, by the way, we're paying for everything for them the entire step along the way as soon as you make it across the border. And then if you want to be a legal immigrant into this country, you got to wait in line. You got to, pay money and do things and pass tests. And I think rightfully so. But I think that the number of people that we let into this country is entirely too high. Mm-hmm. And I think that the number of people that are in this country illegally is atrocious. Especially considering those facts, right? And then here's another point too. Like, we're in 2021. We're at a point in history in which the price of labor and the price of mechanization are coming pretty close to the same, right? And if you give a good hard push towards mechanization by saying like labor should cost more and like yada 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 and like all these regulations and things that you got to have an employee, you're going to push more and more companies to mechanization. You're going to have more truck drivers, more whatever it is, right? Like everything that's produced is going to have more mechanization in it. And the results of that is going to be a net loss in jobs, even if production goes up. So how can you justify in that environment to let a whole bunch of low-skilled people into the country? It makes no sense logically.
No, it actually doesn't, unless you're trying to do some kind of globalist takeover, which would make sense then.
Right. That's very true. And I think that's been the plan all along. And like these are the kinds of things that like people like Alex Jones were talking about 20 years ago that people used to laugh at. And then at some point it became less funny and more serious to those people who used to laugh. Mm-hmm. To the point where now you have to deplatform people like Alex Jones and get them off of the internet. And, like you look at what happened to him. He got taken off of YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, like all of these things almost at the same time. Like it was a coordinated attack by multiple different sources at the same time on him. And he was able to not go away completely because he had his own infrastructure set up. He had his own servers. He had like ways to sell things and make money for continuing his operation and shits like that. And now what are they doing? They're going after the people who provide, like the bankers who support his business, right? So when he sells something and like you pay with your Visa card, like the processing company is trying to cut him out so that you can't have payment process if you want like Alex Jones stuff. And I'm not saying like Alex Jones. I'm just using him as an example because he's like the canary in the coal mine, But anyway, All Thumb says, does the quote "shall not be infringed" still hold any weight? A lot of pro 2A people say, does it mean anything at this point? And I was thinking about this, dude. Like, if you are in the military, if you are in the FBI, if you are in the CIA, if you are a member of our government, if you are a police officer in our great country, do you or do you not take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States?
They all do.
I mean, they do, yeah.
They all do, and so do all elected officials. The problem is, when you look at all the crap, I always go back to my stuff that happened up in Dayton here in Ohio. This is all the crap the Democrats are trying to push. It's all Bloomberg-created legislation. It's 100% an oath break. They broke their oath to the Constitution the day that they did that crap. And none of them have been arrested for it. Because we all treat it as a misdemeanor instead of a felony.
Well, and my point was going to be, like, let's say you're flying into Denver, to Denver International Airport, and you call me up and you're like, Honda, I'm flying into Denver on Tuesday. Can you pick me up from the airport? And I say, yeah, man, you got it. In fact, I solemnly swear and promise to you that I will be there at the airport on Tuesday to pick you up, right? And then Tuesday comes and goes. You're at the airport, no Honda. You call me, no answer, you know, all that stuff. As a friend, you're upset at me because I gave you my word that I would come to the airport and pick you up, right? But we're not friends with the government. We're not friends with these people in the government. And they're given this power over people because, like, the way that things have been trending for the past 100 years is just advocate more and more power to the government and let them control more and more. And, you know, we'll have less and less responsibility because that's a scary word, right? Well, they have so much of that power now that they're kind of scary people, man. So there's that aspect too. Like, it's like the babysitter who molests your daughter when you're watching a movie, you know? Like, that you've been put in a position of trust and now you're abusing it. And moreover, you promise to uphold a principle and you're directly breaking that vow by doing the thing that you're doing. Should that person be respected? And is my question, is where I was going with all this.
No.
So when people are like bootlicking cops, and this is, by the way, all cops, every single one of them, because when it comes down to it, they're going to be like, you know, like look at like a Chicago cop, right? And he's looking at the poverty and the craziness going on and the people without jobs and the shutdowns and the businesses closing down and all this other stuff. And he keeps getting his regular paycheck week after week. Now, they tell that cop, you go in here and you do this thing that you don't want to do, that you think is wrong, that government is overreaching its power by you doing this, but we are giving you the authority as government to do it, right? And you say no, now you're one of those people starving in the street. And they know that. And they got them by the balls by that. And so they're just, you know, and it's the same thing with the Nazis and the Nuremberg trials or whatever. They're just following orders, right? Just following orders. Well, that's not an excuse. You took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, which includes our First Amendment right to be able to speak and assemble and redress grievances. I can't speak, like fucking Biden all of a sudden. And the Second Amendment, which guarantees our right to bear arms, which means to have them and to carry them. Both things are constitutionally guaranteed rights that they have sworn a constitutional oath to uphold, that they're continually trying to break. So yeah, I have no respect for any politician at this point. I have no respect for any policeman at this point. I have no respect for anyone who's trying to take anyone's rights or advocating for it online. I'm just done with it. Like, I'm sorry, fuck off.
So we're throwing out the word respect. I've always been under the idea that respect is earned, not given. And to just blindly say that, oh, you should respect the police officer or respect that politician because of the job they have, I don't buy that. I'll be civil with them. And if throughout my interaction with them, they earn my respect, that's different.
I don't know. I give everyone a base level of respect. And maybe I do it backwards because, like, everyone seems to, you know, like that's the saying is respect is earned, not given. And I say the continuation of my respect is earned, but my initial respect isn't. Like, I'm going to respect everyone until you give me a reason not to. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean by being civil as well.
Yeah, and maybe that's the right way to look at it. Maybe there is a difference between, because, like, I don't know, maybe admiration would be the better word, because, like, I don't admire, like, admiration is not given out at all by me. It is earned, right? There's no one that I admire that didn't earn it. I don't know. Ghost Shadow says, I know a cop that got blackmailed for attempting to do something about corruption. He didn't only lose his job, he couldn't get a job anywhere. See, and that's the problem, dude. But One man standing up against a corrupt system, the corrupt system wins. All good men stand up against a corrupt system has no chance. That's the difference. And that's why, again, I have no admiration whatsoever for these police officers, because they stand by, and the ones that don't have jobs, and there's so many of them that are corrupt and that stand by and like let these things happen and don't care, and they're just there for their paycheck and their kids' college tuition and all that shit. Which again, I understand, man. Like there's something to be said for that, but you can't sacrifice everything for that. Like that's not the proper sacrifice. It's not. I mean, the proper sacrifice is not only what's best for you today, but it's what's best for your kids today and best for your neighbors today. But not only today, but tomorrow and next week and next month and next year. So you have to make these decisions that are, multi-dimensional, and it's hard to just boil it down to that, but you kind of can in a way. Good and evil is how I look at it. Blackballed? I said blackmailed, didn't I?
Probably.
And Captain Bastard Parr says, Andrew Carmichael's email on Police Powers Act. I think that means to go to Gmail. Andrew Carmichael.
While you're grabbing that, I want to bring up 2 quick points. So I think a lot, and this actually goes back to something you said in last night's chat as well, when it comes to the, not one rule controls everything or whatever. And I think that's definitely true, especially when you look at major cities versus rural areas or small towns or whatever the case be. And there's a big difference between cops in a major city or even a bigger town or whatever the case be versus a small town or a rural sheriff's area or something like that.
Right, but then what ends up happening is like there's this national push for gun control, let's say, right? And you are the sheriff of small town Nottingham, Indiana, let's say. I don't think there is a Nottingham, Indiana, but for the sake of argument, there is. And your constituency in your small town, small area, whatever it is, in general, are against the gun control that's been passed. And as their sheriff, knowing that and holding up your constitutional vow, you say, we're not going to enforce that law. What happens to you?
It depends, because I know here in Ohio and a few other states now we're trying to do something called Second Amendment Preservation Acts, and it would basically say you cannot use state resources or anything else like that to go do a federal gun grab.
But if everyone who took an oath to the Constitution took that oath seriously and to heart and said, you know what? I might not even agree with all of it, but I took an oath, so I'm going to uphold it. And that means guaranteeing people their rights. And one of those rights is their right to bear arms. Like, I'm kind of the belief, like, let's say you did a crime and you went to prison. You had a felony, went to prison. So by the current law, you're not allowed to own a firearm anymore. But you went to prison, did your time, quote unquote, rehabilitated, now you're out. In my opinion, you should be able to have a gun again. And if you did the type of crime, like some sort of violent, crazy shit where, like, we really don't think that you should ever have a gun again, well, then maybe you should never be out of jail again.
I agree.
Well, that was actually our founding fathers' line of thinking, because what they would do is they would give you back your gun rights after you got out of prison, but if you did certain things like, child rape or murder or whatever the case be, you were going straight to the gallows, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to tarring and feathering people or, some fucked up crazy shit. If you do fucked up crazy shit, like, guess what? We're going to do fucked up crazy shit back to you. Because, there's a big difference between harmless and good. A good person is not harmless. And there's this line in the Bible, many of you know. It's, the meek shall inherit the earth. But as it turns out, that was a mistranslation. The actual translation of it is, those who have swords and keep them sheathed will inherit the earth. Meaning, if you have a sword and you brandish it and run around and do crazy, like, you're probably going to get killed. You're not going to inherit the earth. And if you don't have a sword, no one has to respect you. No one has to fear you. No one has to listen to you. You're not going to inherit anything. But if you have a sword and you know how to use it, but you keep it sheathed, that's the right archetype. And I thought that was interesting, right? Because that was one that never really made sense. Like, how are the meek going to inherit the earth? Is God just going to give it to them? And the answer is no. God helps those who help themselves, meaning own a sword and know how to use it. And the 2021 version of that is have a gun and know how to use it.
Exactly.
Not to get all religious, but again, Jesus said, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one, And I think that applies today too. Like, if you don't have a gun, get your shit together, sell what you need to, and buy one. Mahler says that's false on it. Well, according to Dr. Jordan Peterson, that's the actual translation. And he looked into it deeply, and I believe him over you, Mahler. Sorry. Anyway. I don't know. I don't really have any subjects tonight. So, oh yeah, this is Police Crime Sentences in Courts Bill 2021, the PCSC bill. Briefing for MPs. Freedom of assembly, as enshrined by Article 11 in the Constitution, protects a demonstration that may annoy or cause offense to persons opposed to the idea, claims that it's seeking to promote. Any measures interfering with freedom of assembly or expression that in any incitement to violence or rejection of democratic principles, however shocking and unacceptable certain views or words may appear to be to the authorities, do a disservice to democracy and often endanger it. So what they're saying there is it's okay to have freedom of speech as long as we agree with it. And I think that's the era that we're in, right? Because here's the other thing. It used to be in the pre-COVID times that you would have your views and you'd be, like online, and people who agree with you were talking to you, and, everybody agrees with each other. But then you go out into the real world and you run into people who might have different ideas, and they're not necessarily assholes, and you don't necessarily meet them in a, like adversarial way. And then these subjects come up and you might actually learn something about the other side, or they might learn something about your side, right? But where we're at today, you're not allowed to have discourse in person because you're not allowed to talk to people in person. We've got COVID shutdown, social distancing, lockdowns. Like, freedom of speech doesn't exist anymore online, right? And that's the only place where you might run into someone that you disagree with, where it is almost necessarily a time where it's going to be an adversarial conversation that you're having with that person. Because if you disagree with someone online, you don't politely say the thing, because even if you say it politely, it's not going to be taken politely, and they're going to go back at you all hard, right? Because that's just the way it works online. It's anonymous fucking mob mentality. It's weird. And so there's no discourse going on anymore. And the people are speaking the same language, but it means two different things. It's double speak. It's 1984. It's Brave New World. It's all of these things rolled together into one, and we're living in that reality right now. And I almost feel like this is the 7 years of tribulation that they talked about in the Bible. This is the end times. This is it, man. Like, I don't know.
My neighbor and I were talking about that here probably like almost a year ago now, when all this first started and stuff like that. And we talked about it. It was around probably like May or June of last summer area. And he even said, he's like, yeah, I think we're basically in the final days is what it is. And we both agreed on it. At that point, we're like, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now.
I mean, if you look at things from that perspective, it almost seems like if there was like an antichrist trying to like overthrow the world and do some crazy shit, how would it look different than what's going on? Yeah, I don't know either. Like,
Yeah, it's hard to say on that one. Like, I would say maybe demons are in your face.
Well, I mean, there's not those bees flying around with the mouths of lions and the tails of scorpions yet. Anyway, we got murder hornets, I guess.
Give it time. Give it time. We'll get there.
Maybe that's what they were talking about, is the murder hornets.
It's possible.
They just
I
didn't
feel like
have...
I feel the murder hornets burned out too quick.
Leonardo Vu says it's the end of the old era and the beginning of a new era. And it's kind of like when you're playing Monopoly, right? And your buddy's beating you, and you get to that point where it's like there's no way that you're going to win. You just haven't landed on Boardwalk and lost all your money yet. And so before you roll the dice again, you just take the board and flip it. Except for they are the ones flipping. COVID. I'm sorry. They're the ones flipping the board. And they're also distracting you and making you look away so that when the board flips back over and they put the pieces back down, they know where, they're putting the pieces where they want them. And you don't have control over it. And we don't have control over it, man. And that's the way they like it. And for a little while there, we were starting to get a little bit more voice and a little bit more freedom online, being able to talk about things and express our ideas and having communities that are growing and things but they were like, well, they're just getting too much power. 2016 was the proof of that. 2012 was the proof of that, as we already talked about, when they had these agendas and these things that they were trying to push forward. They spent a ton of time and money and effort and all this other stuff on that ended up going nowhere because of those very facts that we got together and we were like, no, right? So they've got to get rid of that. They got to get that done with. I mean, it's not like the 1990s when the only news that you could find was on, Channel 9 or whatever, and that's what you learned about the world. It was Discovery Channel. It was, there was no alternative media that anyone accepted. There was no alternative media that was worth watching. That's just the way it was. But now we're in a different era. And I think it's going to get to a point where you're not going to see interesting things on YouTube. I mean, if you need to fix your car, or YouTube's going to have its uses, but if you want to actually have a conversation about things that matter, if you want to have political speech, if you want to hear someone's differing opinion, YouTube's not going to be the place. And neither is Facebook, and neither is Twitter, none of these places, because they all have ideology ahead of freedom.
Well, not only that, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here for a minute. So I do still use Facebook on occasion for just everyday stuff because that's where a lot of my Pro 2A stuff is going on with locally here in Ohio. And this was a couple weeks ago, and I was on after one of your chats. I actually posted something because it was some article that Breitbart put out about Fauci talking about something stupid with corona shots or something like that. And I did the whole thing. I was like, I won't be your fucking guinea pig, dude. And they took almost 12 hours to ban me for a week.
Right, because you can't be allowed to express. And then here's the other thing about that, right? Let's say that they allowed that. And then you were like, hell no, man, I'm not doing that. I don't want that shot in my arm. And then 1,000 people were like, hell yeah, brother, thumbs up. Me too. Then you would feel like you're not alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they take you off as soon as you say that and ban anyone else from agreeing with it, then you kind of feel like you're just alone against the world and no one agrees with you, and you must be crazy, right? You must be. They're conditioning us. They're conditioning us with that lack of reaffirmation from people who agree with us, because we're not allowed to talk to them anymore. Because if we do, then we're racist. If we do, then we're terrorists. We're a terrorist cell organization that's trying to plot against the government by having free speech. That's their line of thinking in a way, but in effect, it means that we can't get together and that our ideas can't be expressed without being judged, without being red flagged or something,
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Captain Bastard Bar says, I do believe in a God, even if I don't entirely know what it wants. But I'm a humanist at heart. I think we make our own morality and fate. I wouldn't let a prophecy tell us what to expect. Yeah, and I don't really know what prophecy is exactly, and I would put myself in the camp of agnostic. I think that different religions probably have things that are truth within them. I don't think any religion holds the full truth of whatever reality, existence, whatever you want to call it, is. But I don't know, man. Like, I think that there probably is a plan, and I live my life as if there's a God. I don't know if what that means necessarily, but it basically means that I try to do good things, and I try to do the right thing, and I try to do the moral thing. And when it comes to morality, I think that we participate in creating morality, but I don't think that we create it ourselves. I think that it's created as a result of our limited faculties as humans and our social natures and the reality of limited resources and things that we live in as humans helps to create that reality of morality as well. Like, we don't just create it out of nothing. But anyway. Sean Carter says, it's kind of funny that it is racist to speak harshly about the vaccine, yet my home state of Alabama is mainly black people who speak harshly about the vaccine for good reason. Hashtag Tuskegee.
But see, that's the thing. If you just erase history or don't teach it, it'll get lost in time. And
I don't know, man. I think wasn't it Matt's chat the other day? His hasty headlines where he was talking about racist highways. What was that about?
yeah, basically how everything nowadays is racist, and I forget which hasty headlines it was, but we were talking about on one of them, and essentially I came to the conclusion that, like, if someone calls something racist anymore, like, it just doesn't mean anything because everything's racist now. So it's just like, okay, like, that term no longer means anything to me.
Do you think it's ever going to come to like a race war in America?
I think it's possible. I've actually done videos on my own channel about this, and I discuss, depending on how things would go here, if we'd go into a full-blown civil war or if we go into a Second American Revolution. If we go into civil war, there's a very good chance it starts as a civil war, goes into some kind of race war about halfway in, and then it finishes off with an actual revolution.
See, here's the thing. I think that's what they want, and I say that from, like, the powers to be, because, again, like, divide and conquer type concept. But, like, when I think race war, I think of two races completely against each other, but that's not what's really happening. Like, granted, typically it's, anything a white person does is considered racist, but then you have white people that are like, I forgive my white guilt and, like, I'm with you. Like, that's not how a race war would work. So, I don't know. I don't know if anything I said just made sense, but
the way I've even looked at it is, I think in some kind of a so-called like race war, you would actually see like white people fighting each other and so forth and so on, whether it be black versus black, Asian versus Asian, Mexican versus Mexican, or some equivalent thereof of Hispanic people and stuff. It would basically just be a mix of like freedom-loving people versus like the people that are just so indoctrinated and out there that's not.
Yeah, in which case it's not really
That's not a race war.
Yeah. I I mean, that's what they might call it that, but that's not technically the definition of it then.
Well, that's why I think it'd be similar to a civil war then, in that aspect of things.
So what about so maybe war would be the wrong adjective for it, because like look at this guy in DC. This guy who killed the DC cop with his car and jumped out with a knife and got shot by the police, who was a follower of Elijah Muhammad, who was a follower of Farrakhan, and basically has that he's a anti-white racist is what he is in effect. But you will never hear a mainstream media news source call a spade when it comes to that. Because if you do that, then you're going to open up the awakening of the American people who only, like, the only time they'll actually listen to something is if it comes from ABC, CBS, NBC, whatever it is. But if it's on the internet or if it's some talking head or whatever, like, they won't listen to it. But even then, like, one news station says it one time, that doesn't make a difference. They need to hear it again and again and again, because a lot of the American people, I'm ashamed and sad to say, are not the brightest these days. And I don't know if that's because we've been chemically dumbed down, or if there's something else going on, or if, maybe that's just a factor of dysgenics. I'm not sure what it is, but we're definitely not as smart as we used to be. So
I wouldn't even say to that. A lot of people are fucking lazy right now because it's inconvenient for them, so they only catch their news, for 5 minutes in the morning while they're getting dressed and grabbing their coffee to go. Well, I mean, people aren't really leaving their house as much anymore to go to work, but before they hop on their first Zoom conference call or whatever like that, they're much more interested in watching The View or catching, late night, comedy host guy, or like the Kardashians. I don't know if the Kardashians still have a show, but you get the point. Like, they're much more interested in that shit than finding out what's happening around in their own neighborhood.
Clyde Knives says, Honda is a demon that eats frogs whole and worships pussy and Satan. Don't listen to his propaganda straight from Satan. And
I mean,
I can't argue with truth.
Klein Knives says that like it's a bad thing.
I don't know who this Klein Knives is, but anyway. You should join, Ray Ray. I sent you a link.
Join us, Ray Ray. Come join us.
One of us.
One of us. Although your chat's probably like almost over. So.
We still got 30-ish minutes.
Oh,
how's it going, Duke? Dukey, baby!
Yo, baby, I'm back. What's happening? Yo!
Hey, boo-boo. Would you get some of these picnic baskets? How you been, man?
I don't know, Yogi.
The Ranger's not gonna like that, Yogi.
What's going on, boyos?
Nothing, man. How's shit going for you, brother?
Oh, good. Just got some school work done, so a little bit of time to chill before night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Everything going good at work and stuff?
Yeah, everything's going great. Everything's going super great. Everything's falling into place, so things are well, man. Thanks.
Nice. So what gun do you want to buy next?
Ooh. I want to buy a Beretta 96.
40 cal Beretta.
Yes.
Why the 40 cal?
Been getting into 40 cal recently for work related reasons, and I'm really into Berettas, and I think Berettas look cool. I think they function well, and the best thing is I shoot them probably better than I shoot my Glock. I don't know if it's it's a heavier gun, so you end up like shooting it better, the better recoil. I don't know what it is, but man, I really
triggers
love.
Are better. I mean,
yeah, triggers are good on those,
and I like having a more solid gun. So I really like the way Beretta 96s look. Other than that, I could go for a probably a good 308, like reach out and touch him rifle.
See, we were talking about that. Like, that's on my list. That's on Angry's list. That's on your list, apparently.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, like, I don't need another. I mean,
I think we should all go.
Another pistol. I think I need another. I need to reach out and touch him.
We should all go out and buy 308 rifles, and then we can touch tips.
There you go.
Gingerly.
Yes, gingerly. I don't know, but I mean, because I don't think I want like a. I want a bolt action.
Yeah.
It's got to be bolt action. I mean, you could get the Axis, right? The Axis, or like you get a 308 Axis for a couple hundred, right?
I think you still can. Yeah, it's just trying to find them is the biggest thing.
Well, trying to find anything right now is just out of control. I mean, we're seeing. I mean, supply lines are really messed up right now.
Well,
They've had at one of my local pawn shops. They've had a Mossberg. I forget what their line is, but it has like Mossberg's version of like the Accu trigger and shit in it for like $320. Now, granted, it's kind of scuffed up and everything, but it's a synthetic stock. I'm like, I don't care if it has some scratches in it. Like some guy carried it through. I don't care. Like if he carried it through the brush and has some scratches on it. Debating on picking that up, but
honestly, like I would. I'm not opposed to, especially for like what I would use that gun for. You know, like if it was like a 686 plus and it had scratches all over it and shit, I'd be like, God damn it, like fuck that gun. But if it's like a hunting rifle and it's got scratches on it, it's like cool. Now I don't have to like worry about scratching it because it's already scratched. Like,
yeah, and I mean it's when it's a hunting weapon, it's a tool. It's gonna get beat up, and you could even do some really cool stuff. Like depending on where you live, throw some camo on that bad boy. Do some spray paint. Look at all.
That's what I'm thinking about
like,
doing. Like if it's already dinged up and everything, I'm like, what's it to hurt to, do a cool like camo pattern on it or something like homemade camo.
I'm no special forces dude, but I was at the armory one time and the snipers were there, and they were like camoing their guns up, and it was a cool process to watch. They had collected foliage from the field, and they were using like foliage to to spray paint it and like paint over. It was a neat whole process that they were doing, and watching those guys. So yes, foliage.
Yeah. Now, Duke, I don't know how bad it would actually be to find the Savage Axis. I could go to probably 3 local shops right now, and each one probably have about 6 of them.
Wow. Okay.
Now, if they're going to be in 308, I'm not sure about that. Most of the time, it seems like they're in 243 or 223 when I do see them. But
I mean, honestly, right now, probably better off to get a 223 or a 556, something like that. I mean, then you ain't got to find ammo.
Well, the difference is
how far you can reach out. You're right.
Hunting requirements, because like a lot of states, you can't hunt with a 223.
Okay.
Like you need at least a 30 caliber bullet, or I think it's 270 is what the minimum is for a lot of states. So you have to get like at least a 270 or whatever, or something bigger bore than a 223 for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are kind of like want to get the 308s now. What exactly is the reason? Like you're worried about economic collapse and you want to have that hunting rifle, or is it just something that you want to put on the
I want 308 because I have 308 and nothing to shoot 308 through.
Great reason. I love that.
I don't have a good hunting rifle. Like I've got all kinds of guns and I have rifles that I could use as a hunting rifle and it would be fine and I could kill a deer or whatever, but I don't have like, this is my hunting rifle with, and I've got 308 hunting loads and my scope is sighted in for 100 yards with this load. Like I don't have that. So that's what I want.
Okay. Yeah, I just know I've heard people in the past say, "Oh, I want to get a good hunting rifle that way in case things go south and I have to bug out to the woods or something." Which I'm like, that's just, bugging out to the woods. Are you really prepared to do all that? But then I was like, well, if you're that worried about it, are you really going to be worried about hunting regulations at that point?
Right, and that was kind of my point. Is like, if the zombies attack, and I have to go hunt for deer in the woods, I can kill a deer with a 223 AR-15 just fine, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the difference is, like, law doesn't matter at that point. I could probably put an oil filter can together or something at that point, too.
I mean, Honda, you have that Carcano, and if a Carcano is good enough for candy, it's good enough for a deer.
Dude, who is echoing?
I have no idea. Is it still happening? Yep.
Echo! Yeah, someone's echoing. That's all good.
Yeah, I don't know who.
Hunt with a crossbow. That's an idea. I bought a crossbow a while back, but I gave it to a buddy of mine because I didn't really have any use for it.
The issue here is that, like, in my area, you have to hunt with a shotgun. Like in this part of Michigan, you can't hunt with a rifle at all. You got to go north to do that, where there's less people. So I'm good on shotgun slugs, but like I can reach out and touch them, 100 yards, maybe more than that. Like, I'm not reaching out that far. Most of the stuff I kill is within like 50, 60 yards. Like my last 5 kills have been that close.
I bet it's the kind of thing that you wish you had a Remington 870 for. I know that.
I sure am. Sure do wish I had a Remington 870.
All wood stock, 20
Every time I see one.
Extended mag. I don't know. Just something that popped in my head. What would be good for that kind of thing?
Real loud, like Con. Yeah. Sure. Someday, I shall have my revenge.
Captain Bastard Par says a gun announces that you have ammo to everyone in miles, and it's not as renewable. He's making the case for the crossbow. And I would say in that case, a 22 works really well because you can kill a deer with a 22 just fine also. And you put a little silencer on there, like no one can hear it. And if you don't, like barely anyone can hear it. I think 22 is the caliber of choice for the zombie apocalypse.
If you're not in the immediate
depending on the crowd, sometimes you want to announce that you have a gun.
And depending on, like, if you're not in the immediate area, gunshots bounce off of everything.
Yeah.
And good luck them. I don't know. I guess you could
triangulating. Especially if it's just one shot.
Yeah.
Like, if you're doing multiple shots, like, okay, maybe, but like one shot, like.
Yeah. If we're at that point, like, you got all kinds of things to worry about. Them hearing one shot of you hunting.
So if we're at that point, I really don't think that hunting deer is going to be a practical means of food. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a great means of food, but you're going to have a ton of waste. You're not really going to be able to pack around with it. You have no way to keep the meat, things like that. Now, if it's winter up where I live, be great in the winter. But once summer rolls around, killing a deer, that's a whole lot of waste. You're going to be better off snaring small game and things like that.
Deer jerky, man.
A lot of salt. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I was looking at, on a different note, how much it would be to fly from where multiple people are at to Denver. And the most expensive one is you, Duke.
I know. Yep.
You're more expensive. Like, Angry is the cheapest. Flying from Arizona to Colorado is like round trip, like less than $100.
What can I say? I'm a cheap flight.
And then for Ray, it was like less than 200. For Matt, it was just over 300, and for you, it was just under 400.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna tell me like, yeah, buddy, it's like $150. Like,
now,
okay.
It's only that expensive until we all pitch in and get a STOL plane.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Hold on. Like, where am I flying to?
You're flying to Denver International Airport.
Hold on. Hold on, because
I have a hard time believing it's 400 because for me to fly from Phoenix.
No, it was just under. It was like $370 for his ticket.
See,
round trip.
For me to fly from Phoenix to Philly is like right around 3 to 370 usually. Sometimes it'll creep up into 400 depending how late I wait. But typically it's around that 3 to like 370 range. I know that's got to be farther than Denver to where Duke's at.
Well, it's not about further. It's about frequency of flights, availability of seats, demand for the supply and demand is what it is. When there's not very many flights from Flint, Michigan to Denver, Colorado.
Okay, here's the problem.
Is Denver a hub for anything?
Yeah, hold on though. Here's the problem. You put me out of Flint. If I fly out of Detroit, it's $148.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah, that's why. Because Flint is a small airport, and like, yeah, you can do it, but like if you need to, where like Detroit's like an hour and a half, 2 hours drive for me, which is doable. It cuts it down considerably.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm have a surprise at some point.
I'm flying Spirit though. I'm flying Spirit, so I don't know if I'll make it. We may not make it.
I've never flown Spirit.
The only thing is we have to make sure that Matt gets on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like to do that.
We'll have to get him like boozed up or something, so he doesn't even know. Like B.A. Baracus from the A-Team, like we'll have to drug him so he doesn't even know he's on a plane.
Yeah, it's like when the Jews scooped up that Nazi in South America. You hear about that operation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, where they got him super drunk and they dressed him up like them. And they were like, "Oh, it's our buddy." and the South American dudes were like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And they just took him on the plane and stole a Nazi.
Yeah. So Ray and I will have to go to Texas to drag Matt.
I don't know, man. It's just funny to me that, like, he's like, yeah, all you got to do this is do that because I know how to do everything because I'm never enough ammo. Check this out. I do this, blah. Hey, do you want to get on a plane? Hell no, I don't fly on a plane. I don't touch that.
I ain't going on no plane.
Like, dude, I'll buy you a ticket. I don't care. I'll drive. That's like 27 hours of driving. It's fine.
Yeah. There's
like
literally flying to Mars takes less time.
It's like way more dangerous to drive 27 hours in a car than it would be to have someone fly you for a couple hours in a plane. But, you know, whatever.
Well, I don't got control.
I don't know. I mean, like that when they close that cabin and that pressure lock hits, get a little jittery. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't really care.
Smell people's feet. I can't stand that. People take their shoes off and stuff.
I don't like the smell. I'll agree with you on the smell part. If someone stinks, like, fuck you, dude. Why didn't you take a shower before you got on the plane?
Yeah, like this wasn't a surprise. This was not a surprise for anybody.
Or you're stuck in like a middle seat between two very large people that don't know how to they don't know the rules of seats. Like that middle seat gets both armrest, aisle gets the aisle.
Yeah, middle seat gets both armrests. And I'm not talking about shared. I'm talking about like
full you own them.
Armrest.
Yep.
Get out.
Yeah. Did you guys see this?
Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out. Out.
Oh my gosh.
Out. Out. Out.
Where is this at?
Canada.
Immediately out. Immediately go out and don't come back. I don't want to talk.
I'll cut it short there. Basically, he keeps yelling, out! until these cops are like, fuck, I guess we'll leave. Like,
it's a mosque, right?
No, it's a Orthodox Christian something or other. Like, this is during their Passover fucking service.
Oh.
Like Good Friday, right?
Oh, this is terrifying.
And they're coming in as health inspectors to make sure that they're properly socially distancing and doing all, like everyone's wearing their mask or whatever the thing is that they're supposed to do. And the pastor or priest or whoever it is, this guy, he's like, fuck you.
Friar Tuck, man, he's going to mess them up. You know what I'm saying? He had no more.
He calls them Nazis. He calls them Gestapo. Like,
there's the most wild videos I've seen of this have been from Canada. where like
Yeah.
they were going in people's houses. Remember that?
Dude, like,
they were-
it's
no.
super strict up there because I have there's a couple guys I know up there that they have like a YouTube channel and stuff, and they're like, yeah, we can't do shit. Like, we can't meet up with our buddies and stuff at, like, they have to meet at like a gas station if they want to talk to their friends, or like a business or something like that. Like, they can't like just go to each other's house and hang out because there might be more than, I think it's like 6 people there or something, and someone could call the cops on them. Like,
No way.
So the court struck down Trump's executive order banning bump stocks, right? Does that mean that you can have a bump stock now? I mean, obviously you can't find anywhere and buy one, but if you like didn't throw yours away, can you now like use it again?
I believe so.
Well,
all those people that like, I mean, granted, I don't care myself about bump stocks, but I thought it was a stupid order and it shouldn't have ever happened. So, but all those people that were like, oh, I gotta do what Lord Trump tells me to do and threw it in the trash or whatever, probably feel like idiots now.
I mean, it's not something that I thought was like, hey, that's something I want to put on one of my guns at any point.
Yeah, exactly. But different strokes for different folks. I get it. And if you want to, I think you should be able to.
And if I had bought one, I might have taken it off of my gun to take it to the gun range so that I don't get in trouble, but I definitely wouldn't have thrown it away.
Yeah, I might have, and that's a big emphasis on the might.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on the Twitter. On the Twitter. Firefighters in Portland rushed to respond to another arson attack on Portland Police Union facility by Antifa overnight. Antifa had also intimidated drivers on the road. Police made no arrests. Dude, what the fuck is going on in Portland that they can't arrest anybody? And have you seen like the fucking like the arrest pictures of the people that they do arrest? It looks like, I don't know, like Night of the Living Dead fucking from the 1980s. Yeah.
Yo.
Like that's what they look like, the fucking zombies. They do. Is that bad to say? Like, I'm not really sorry. Like,
I say we take off and nuke the whole site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
What the fuck?
Yo.
Man, he's mucha lucha.
I mean, he's really getting it. You know, oh, look at that. You imagine what that dude's smelling right now, though?
Yeah.
Whatever's
I
going
know, I
on
always
up in
hated
that
Rey Mysterio's finisher.
is like real, not delish. Oof. Like, don't breathe, bro. Like, keep that stuff deep.
Why would you place a rubber band? Okay, I don't want to go through the fucking slideshow. What is the point of this? Place a rubber band on your door when alone.
Or you could just lock your doors and have a gun.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
feel like
you can have your rubber band. I'll take my AR-15.
like burglars gonna look at that and be like, "What the fuck? What type of arts and crafts bullshit is this?"
Yeah, that's.
I want to move to South Texas and work for Elon Musk.
That's a V2 rocket stuff right now. Look at how old school this looks.
As long as he gives
Dr.
me,
Evil.
as long as he gives me a security uniform and a ray gun, I don't care if James Bond's gonna kill me down the line.
I mean, what is this, Dr. Evil? Look at that. Oh, whoa. Oh, that'll. Oof. I don't know.
That's really fucking cool, man. Congratulations, Elon Musk. You're my hero.
Did you hear him? Somebody interviewed him, and they were talking about how Buzz Aldrin, and a bunch of other famous astronauts were talking crap about him, and he started crying. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, the interviewer is like, "Have you read that?" Because like Buzz Aldrin and like a couple other famous astronauts were knocking Elon Musk for talking about like privatizing space travel and charging money, and they were like just bashing him. And he's like, "How does it feel that they're talking about that?" He's like, starts to cry. He's like, "Yeah, it hurts me really bad. Those are my idols." Like, oh man, the guy's just trying to give us space technology.
Dude, check this out. Medical straitjackets with holes in the arm so that they can give you the injection.
Ugh.
That's not
If you're
scary.
flailing around a bunch, it's still pretty hard to give somebody an injection.
I mean,
Hola, gay boys.
Hey,
Did you like my
Buenos noches.
theory?
if you're going to put me in this straitjacket with a hole in the arm to give me an injection forcibly, I am going to do everything I can to spit on you, to bite you, to squirm around so you can't stick me, to like take a shit in your office as soon as I possibly can
From
and spread it on the
Hell's
walls.
Capacity.
Like, I'm just gonna make it like, sure, you might actually get the needle into me at some point, right? But I'm going to make it as unpleasant for you as I physically can.
I
No, I
don't plan on being alive when I get put into said jacket for the
Yeah.
injection.
if we're
However,
at this point, we're playing
if
different
something
games.
like that does happen and I am somehow like knocked unconscious and subdued and wake up in said jacket, after said injection has been given, once I am free of said jacket, you are going to regret said decision to give me said injection.
dude, my ex got her injection yesterday.
That's
See,
ironic, so did mine.
I think if you start forcibly injecting people, then like the time has arrived.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boy.
Well, it seems like they've got the plan to do it. I mean, they've got medical straitjackets with holes in the arm so that they can stick you with a needle. Like, what other point do they have? Like, is this something that's been around for a while, and then like they're just showing a picture of it in light of COVID-19, or like?
Dude, that's probably been a thing in asylums for a long time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I see that.
Well, here's where I disagree, because this constricts your chest, and anything that constricts your breathing, this is what it does. It's using pressure on your chest. I don't even see this being real, to be honest. From a standpoint of you're talking about restraining somebody, there's no way that could pass any kind of regulation because it's putting pressure on your chest.
Well, and again, I mean, this is some random post off of someone on Twitter, so
Yeah.
I'm not taking this as like, this is the next thing that's happening.
Although if that straitjacket had been like invented back in like the 20s or 30s, I'd be like, yeah, that's completely feasible that it restricts your chest. Because back then they're just like, fuck it, we don't
Yeah.
care. They stopped moving.
Garrett, I'm still hurting from last night's drinking price. Like
$5 a shot.
I've been hungover all day long. I still
Well,
don't feel very good.
the best way to cure a hangover.
Yeah. I just went to sleep instead.
So Honda, you said your ex got the shot. If for some reason she becomes really pleasant now, can you please let me know so I can encourage my ex to get it?
I don't see that happening, but if it does, I will certainly let you know.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be like a lobotomy or something. I don't think a shot would do it.
Well, I mean, a lobotomy is just a shot above the eyeball.
Oh, this dude got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tattoo on his nose. You see that?
It's too small.
It's too small. I don't want to click on the thing because it's like going to be There we go.
He closes his eyes real creepy, like he's like, I'm gonna close my eyes.
Close my eyes. Only for a moment, then the moment's gone. What else is going on? What have you been up to today, Ray Ray?
Hanging out with family.
Yeah? Easter stuff?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Best part was I went in the other room and checked to see if you guys were live yet, and you guys were. I was trying to think of what I could fucking say in the comments. Got to hear you read it live. It was great.
Man, like driving recently, I feel like no one gives a fuck about like stoplights or turn signals or fast lanes or I don't know, like general etiquette of driving. It's been stupid lately.
That's been my notice too. And like, I don't know if I just didn't notice it before COVID hit, but like now that people are getting back on the roads even more than they were 6 months ago, I'm noticing the same shit. Like people just, it's like they forgot how to drive. Like the whole concept of, it's like riding a bike. You never forget. Like, no, people forgot how to fucking drive.
I like all this stuff that the media is like, oh, the white racists are going after Asian people now. And then you look at like criminal records of people who've actually been charged with hate crimes against Asian. And then like none of them are white. Like anyway. Leonardo Vu says, yep, we got some shit drivers here in Colorado. Dude, that's half the reason I don't ride a motorcycle anymore.
No soul brother, tubuku.
Like, there were multiple times where people fucking nearly killed me on my motorcycle, and it was their fault, and then they're mad at you. Like, you almost killed me, and then I beeped at you and revved my motor to, like, let you know you're retarded. And now you're mad at me? Like, yeah, I'm selling this bitch. Like, I'm done.
Hey, Duke, how are you?
I'm good. Real good.
Good to hear.
Yeah, just busy with school and work and miss everybody a lot, but glad to jump on here for a few moments before I got to hit the rack.
Do you guys beep at people and flip them off when they do stupid shit on the road? Or are you afraid that that's going to like escalate some sort of situation?
No, I just drive up next to them and I pull out a 45 and shoot out their front right tire. I find that solves things.
I have tried to do better at that. I am guilty of doing the finger. I'm guilty of honking the horn, getting a little pent up. I try to be like hey, that could have been an accident. But if I think it's blatant, or you want to do some stuff like ride me because you think I'm going too slow and do some like intimidation stuff, we're on. It's like it's on. I'll be crazy.
Hey, Angry, your name's Angry and you like cars. I'm guessing that you might drive a little angry. Angry?
Yes, I am one might deem me as an aggressive driver. And it's more like people that piss me off. Like, if I'm cruising in the right lane and you're going slower, like, I'll just go around past you. I have no ill will towards you. But, like, if you're in the left lane and you're doing 10 miles below the speed limit, granted, I usually will not beep and flip you off, but I usually, especially now that it's warmer out, have my window down, I will yell out my window, like, what the fuck is your problem? Get the fuck over. Like, why are you stupid? Or if you can't figure out how to use a turn signal, I'll yell out the window, like, it's called a fucking turn signal. Use it. It's the column, flips up and down. And maybe they just don't know.
My favorite, or rather least favorite thing is, we call it here the Mexican roadblock. I don't know if you know what that is. That's
people next to each other.
That's two lanes, right? Like you're driving in a direction. There's two lanes driving in that direction. You got the fast lane. You got the slow lane. The person in the fast lane decides that the guy in the slow lane's going the perfect miles per hour for him.
Yep.
And keeps pace exactly.
Yeah, that shit pisses me off.
And then he'll almost get to the point where you can sneak around him and bust through that little gap, and then now you're in front and there's open roads ahead of you because they're going so slow that no one's in front of them.
So I had,
but then it never quite happens, and you never get that gap, and then you're just stuck there. And then they're looking at you like you're the asshole because you're trying to get around them. Like, get the fuck out of the fucking fast lane, or at very least, if you're gonna be in the fast lane, keep up with the person ahead of you. That's all I ask.
so yesterday on our way back from Kansas, some jackass like went around us because we were in the right-hand lane, and we were going a little slow because I had a spare on because we hit a nail earlier that day. Anyway, this car like gets within like 1.5 feet of our bumper, and it's like a truck with a trailer, and it swerves around us, not like a semi-truck, but like a fucking fifth wheel trailer, and like it missed us by like 1.5 feet, man. And I sped up and followed him for a while, and then waited for him to get up close to some slow fucker, and then I hit fucking afterburner on that bitch and got up in front of him, and I kept pace with that fucker for probably 20 minutes. And I don't feel bad about that at all.
See, that's different. That's getting back at somebody. And I can't say that I try not to stoop to that level. And again, as Duke said, like, a lot of the times I'll just be like, okay, like I know there have been times I've forgotten to hit my turn signal. Maybe this person was just, scatterbrained, whatever. But if I'm following them and after like the third turn they still haven't hit their, I'm like, okay, now you're just a piece of shit that doesn't know how to drive.
See, like, I use the turn signals as much as possible, but like if I'm driving around at night in a neighborhood and there ain't nobody else around but me, I don't bother.
Yeah, no, something like that. I agree with that.
Turn signals are for other people, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about like
there's no reason to use your turn signal. If there's other cars around you and you don't use your turn signals, you're kind of an asshole.
I agree.
Yeah. Or like when you're trying to turn onto a street and the person's like across the way and you're waiting for them, you're like, which way you turning? Are you gonna cut me off? Can I go? Or are you turning the other way? Like, I need to fucking know so I can make my decision. Like, that's when I get pissed off at people.
You know who the worst drivers on the road are, though? And you're not going to like this, Angry.
Oh, you've already told me.
The Audi drivers, man. Because they think that they know, like, their car's got, like, all the power and they can maneuver and blah, 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 and I can brake and turn because I got an Audi, so I'm just going to drive, like, a piece of shit asshole everywhere I go, all day long, all night long, all the time.
I disagree. The Mercedes people are worse than the Audi people.
See, I usually lean towards either Mercedes or BMW.
BMW too, yeah.
I just lean towards anybody in the Northeast, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut.
See, when I lived in Pennsylvania, I agreed with you. I lean towards New Jersey, New York. But being out here in Arizona, I will say Californians are worse drivers than either New Jersey or New York, by far.
Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but we're going to watch the Easter Bunny getting in a fight.
Oh, I've seen this video.
Beat his ass, buddy.
He whooped his ass. This Easter Bunny fucks this guy up.
Happy Easter, everybody!
I like
because I saw this video like last year too. Like this has got played.
I'd love it if that was like some boxer or some shit at a charity event.
Yeah, it was like outside of a bar or something like that. I want to say it was either last year or maybe even the year before. It's probably the year before because last year was 2020. And
the year of our COVID.
Yeah, like the guy like came out of a bar and I guess like tried to pick a fight with the Easter Bunny, not knowing the Easter Bunny like can scrap.
I just had my kids watch that.
Here you go, Angry. An airplane went down in the mountains about 7 miles west of Decker Saturday evening, was located Sunday morning. The crews were hiking in to check on the pilot's condition, according to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. It was a stole plane. I don't know that. Probably not. Actually, if it landed because it broke and he lived, it probably was a stole plane.
Yeah, probably. The crew hiked in to check on him. They're just rebuilding it with fucking like bushcrafting skills.
We will replace it with wood. We'll make it a wood burning engine.
We need some adhesive here. Anybody got some bubble gum?
All I've got is Gorilla Glue. Take some out of my hair.
Yeah, about to say, like, I got that shit in my weave, baby.
Oh shit! Man dies after powered paraglider crashes in Boulder County. We were talking about paragliders last night too, or I guess it was paramotors. What's the difference? I guess a paraglider doesn't have a motor. That would be the difference.
So the sail is a parasail or paraglider, and then the motor is, you're adding that onto it.
Yeah.
Dude, there are all kinds of fucking pictures of people getting their shots. Fucking
Oh,
Jim
yeah,
Costa.
That's the fucking like Instagram thing now. Is if you get your shot, you have to post up on Instagram and Facebook to let the world know that you got your shot.
Do you think the nurses get sick of that shit? Like, I just want to give you your shot, and you're like, everyone
Get
keeps
you the fuck out of here.
of it so that they can get their fucking their Instagram photo opportunity. Dwayne Christensen is requesting some gun porn. We can do that. Because we do have a pew pew porn section. We'll start with Gun Jesus. That's the repro one, right?
What is it? FG42? Yeah, gotta be a reproduction.
Yeah, that thing looks way too nice. Like everything's new on it.
Like the real ones of those are like $250,000. So
Yeah, well, at least 100.
Yeah. They only made a handful of them.
There's only 14 in the United States.
Is that a
ballistic
duct tape
knife?
bayonet? But it's not a bayonet; it's a Bowie knife.
I can't see because you have such tiny pictures.
It's a weird, yeah.
There. Oh, let me get rid of this. There.
Yeah, looks like someone duct taped a Bowie knife. Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly what that is.
Duct tape and a man can survive.
Probably owns a stool plane.
Dude, this looks like a Klein Knives Productions photo. Kinda.
It's just taken outside with props.
Right, that's what you do.
Yep.
Was that a shield?
Yeah, looks like the new wide magged one or something.
Yep.
Okay. So the slide is still single stack width, but the grip is fatter, basically.
Skinny on top and fat on bottom. So,
Just like Matt likes them.
exactly.
Rudy.
What is with guys and like giant asses? I don't understand that.
I don't either.
Like I'm happy about it and I take advantage of it, but I don't understand.
There's the KE arms lower. That's the flat dark earth one. That's nice.
Yeah, that's cool. It'd be cool to get that and then do a whole flat dark upper, build to match it.
Yeah.
Super like desert future or something.
I was thinking about like once I get all the parts for my AR-15 in the new one, just rattle canning it something like that color.
Yeah.
Just for fun. Just so
I'm gonna get some OD green and some yellow, maybe a little bit of like Kona brown, and do a like Rhodesian kind of thing with tiger stripes.
tiger straps.
Yeah.
You ain't never done nothing with tiger straps before. Oh wait. Rhodesian shorts. Where's my... Oh, wait. That's a different guy.
On your server, Honda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frogs.
There's the emotional support AK. I was actually looking at getting one of those Z-Pap pistols just because they're cool. I don't know when I'll have money to do that necessarily, but it would be nice to get a second AK before you aren't allowed to buy imported guns anymore. Beretta. That thing's nice. Brand fucking new. Who is that? Are we supposed to know who this is?
Some Russian chick with an AK, or one of those black countries. I don't know if it's necessarily Russia or not. Didn't look like a Russian flag. I could be looking at it wrong too.
She is from Ukraine.
Ah, there you go.
I really like some of the Keltec guns, but I would never trust one of the Keltec guns with anything important. But these are pretty fucking cool, man. It's the 5.7 handgun with the helical mag or whatever it's called that snaps in.
They are interesting. I will give them that. Keltec always has interesting designs, but I'm in the same boat as you.
I wish whoever designs the guns for Keltec would just go to Ruger and be like, I got these great designs.
Please make these.
Yeah, das ist sein SKS, yeah.
Yeah, take the girlfriend shooting in Kansas.
Yeah, we went to Kansas and we went shooting.
Yeah, kind of cool range.
Yeah, it looks like it out in the open and shit. I like that.
It's next to an airport. Welcome to Kansas.
Just don't shoot at the drum barrels, yeah.
I was trying to post videos, but it wouldn't let me. They haven't popped up yet.
What, in Discord?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, well. You get the idea. We had to put the bayonet out because every time we shot, it came loose. I guess the bayonet on that thing was replaced maybe or wasn't fitted properly, but I took a file and now it's fine.
Well, when you snapped it back into the...
Yeah. It had very little lockup to begin with in that position. I was kind of always worried about it, and then the first shot, it came loose, and I was like, okay.
Dude, half the time I think the bayonet's the most dangerous thing on those guns. I mean, as long as you're not in front of it when you're shooting bullets out of it, highest propensity for having an accident injury from that gun is the bayonet.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty cool looking gun with the bayonet on it.
No, it's a beautiful SKS. You got a nice one. That's another gun that I want at some point is an SKS that I don't have. But
man, if you want one, I would try to find one now. I saw a Russian the other day for $7.99, and that's a pretty good deal for now.
That's the thing, though. I'm not willing to spend $700 on an SKS.
That's what it's gonna be now. A fucking Yugo or a Chinese is $700 now, which is crazy.
I didn't buy them when they were cheap, when they were less than $200, right? When you get one for $150, and then they were $350, $400 for a while, and I was like, well, that's more expensive than they should be. I'm not going to buy them at that price. And then they were creeped up to $500, and then now they're $800. Jesus.
Every SKS I've ever owned that was Russian, I paid $400 to $500 for. A couple Chinese, I dipped down to $350, but they've always been in that 4 to 5 range for me because I was always looking for the Russian ones, not the Chinese ones, because I just think they're cooler. Which the price, I guess, reflects that. But
SP-101. That looks weird with that. Ugh. Not my favorite revolver right there. I'm sure it's fine, but looks-wise, I don't like it.
I like the SP-101 in the snub nose version. I don't like it beyond the snub nose.
I
don't
like Ruger revolvers, really. At least not the double actions. I'd rather have a Smith.
Yeah, me too. In fact, I do have a Smith.
I have a Colt.
I wouldn't mind.
I had a
GP
100 for a long time, but
I got that little Colt Police Positive in 32 that I like it, but it's 111-year-old gun that shoots 32s, so it's more of a toy.
So it's uber reliable, is what you're saying?
Well, it was until the mainspring broke.
It was until it wasn't.
So, like, I carried it a lot and kind of figured, yeah, it's still working, so I'm going to keep carrying it. Then when the mainspring broke, I was like, yeah, we don't carry this anymore. It's being fixed as we speak.
Leonardo Vu is asking, what is a good budget AR pistol 9mm that is reliable?
If I was going to buy a cheap 9mm and want it to be reliable, I would actually probably get one of those Kel-Tec Sub 2000s. Like, those are kind of hit or miss, but if you get one that works, in my experience, they tend to work for a while. And it's kind of a tube that shoots 9mm. If you have to have an AR pistol, like, I don't even know where to start on that. Maybe Palmetto State or CMG.
I was going to say Palmetto. Like, I haven't handled one, but I've heard good things. So, for what that's worth.
They made a new one that takes Scorpion mags. That looks interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would say is go with like either the like Ruger cart, like not AR-15 9mm, just PCC.
Yeah,
I really like those Ruger carbines. The pistol.
Dude, that's what I would buy too.
Or I would get, I don't know, like one of those AK-9s.
Man, I really like that Ruger carbine. It's kind of fucking perfect for what I would want that thing for. And like the Kel-Tec is like the El Cheapo version of that same thing. So like it's like if you just need a thing and you can get the Kel-Tec cheap, get the Kel-Tec. But if you can get that Ruger for a decent price, I would definitely look at one of those.
Well,
yeah, Heavy had one of those in 40 and he liked it.
The Ruger carbine, you can get it in a pistol version with a folding pistol brace on it. And then you can get the takedown version too. So it's a takedown folding pistol brace. Like, it's just as small as the Kel-Tec.
Yeah. Well, the Kel-Tec's more of a cost thing for me. The Kel-Tec gets interesting because I see those, or used to see those in the before times for like $300-400 all the time. So assuming that ever becomes a thing again, like even now the Kel-Tec is the cheapest of the PCCs you can get in the High Point. And I would much rather have the Kel-Tec than the High Point usually.
Well, the High Points work well, but it's a High Point.
They don't have very high cap mags, and
yeah,
and
it's heavy as fuck for what it is.
Yeah, and the Kel-Tec is cool because it folds in half and it takes Glock mags.
Yeah, I mean,
I picked up the PC9 carbine from Ruger literally 2 weeks ago, and it was $530.
See, there you go.
That's not bad at all.
See, that's about what I'd be wanting to spend on one, but I'd want it in 45 and to take 1911 mags.
That'd be awesome.
Which the Marlin Camp carbine did, but those things are fucking outrageous, and they don't have half the features of that Ruger.
Speaking of taking 45 mags and being a carbine, I want someone to re-release the Delisle carbine.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking of that thing as. Is like you get that, thread the barrel, maybe eventually get a 45 can, and then you kind of have a modern.
Yeah.
And like I have a 1911, so I have 1911 mags.
Yeah.
Dude, that is so cool. You got the Rough Rider with the shortest barrel and the one with the longest barrel. Like, that's fucking cool. I like how the ejector rod is longer than the barrel on the small one, though.
Yeah, the small one you don't even get an ejector rod. Like it comes with a punch with it.
They give you a stick.
Pretty much.
So just to jump back to the Ruger PC9 carbine, since they are making the Charger too, which you guys are talking about, and their takedown models, the barrels are interchangeable, so you could actually put the rifle barrel on the Charger. Now, what you're going to do with the pistol barrel while you got the rifle barrel on the pistol, I don't know, but I'm everybody's creative.
I want a VZ61 Scorpion, the fucking 32 ACP one.
Dude, I fucking wish I could find one.
Because like those things, I always thought were cool, and
ever since
now you can get a brace that like at least you'd be able to shoulder that thing or whatever.
Yep.
Wait. What was this gun called in GoldenEye?
The Klob.
Yeah, that's the Klob.
Yeah. Yep, and that's the thing. Ever since GoldenEye, I've wanted that gun.
I've wanted one ever since the first Black Ops.
Dude, that was the worst gun in GoldenEye.
It was, but it was so cool. Like, it was just a cool gun. Because you could dual wield. I mean, you could dual wield everything in GoldenEye, but like, yeah. And then like seeing it in like media after that point and stuff, I just always thought that was a cool gun.
I saw it in True Lies, and I wanted one ever since then.
Yep.
That is totally the Clob, dude.
And they make one in 9x18 Mac, and that would also be sweet.
They made one 9x18 Mac. They also made one 380.
I think I would get the 9x18 Mac with all the shit going on, though.
Yeah, like if over 380, yeah, I would also. But see, I'd want one in 32 just because it has the curved mag still.
Yep, I agree. If I bought one, it would probably be a 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Clob from GoldenEye. That's the same fucking gun. I
put pictures of my new Waltha in the gun pawn too.
You do Waltha?
James Bond.
Oh, is that for a Wii? That's a Wii controller. Now I want to play GoldenEye on Wii.
The Waltha PP, with a delivery like a brick through a plate glass window, Mr. Bond.
Well, all right, we've been going about an hour and 45 minutes, which is roughly how long we normally go for the Gay Frog chat, and I am still hungover from last night. Thank you very much, Gun Library Garrett. Jesus Christ, my head hurts.
Car bombs, let's do them.
Oh no, that
up.
It hurts when you talk. Stop. But
someone asked me tonight if I knew what an Irish car bomb was. I was like, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, funny you should mention.
Yeah. I had to explain what we do on Saturday nights. It was to my uncle, and he was like, fucking crazy. Okay.
All right, guys. Well, we will be back tomorrow night for the Guns and Geeks podcast on Never Enough Ammo's channel.
Never Enough Butthole.
Does not like to come for the Gay Frog chats or for many things. He doesn't come for anybody anymore. He just doesn't come at all.
Well, he comes for his wife.
I mean, that's what he says.
Yeah, I don't believe him.
Yeah.
I don't think he can get it up.
But we'll be there tomorrow night for that, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I hope everyone out there has a fantastic rest of your Easter Sunday. God bless you all, and have a good night. Peace out.